What, we already started? Oh my god, I wasn't prepared. Hello my friends, operator Starsky here. Witam wszystkich, guten Abend, buonasera, and whatever, I don't know that many languages. I hope you can hear me well, because today we're gonna talk about some very interesting topic called informational warfare. And before we start, do you even hear me? Oh, nice. Yeah, I added some decibel to my microphone. I hope that you can hear me well. And before we start, I want to brag a bit because today I met your favorite YouTuber, and I'm talking about this man here, the one with me. So Rick gave me something very cool, which is get out of here, which is this little snail. It's if you remember my snail theory, okay, this is the little snail on the wheels. It's amazing. All right, yeah, people can hear me well. Awesome. Yeah, if you don't know the story behind the snail, you gotta check out the Shields. They have this separate episode dedicated to the snail, and yeah, it's amazing. And it was brought to me by Tone Ottensen. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I'm not sure if she's with us tonight. Hopefully she is. Nice. Okay. Alrighty. So I think we should start. The topic of today's video. Can I add like timestamps? Nice. The topic of today's video is informational warfare. Informational warfare is a tool used to reach military goals. And this is something that you should always remember, because Russian informational warfare is a coordinated effort that uses all types, all sorts of media to spread disinformation and propaganda. Russian hybrid warfare combines military and non-military tools to achieve its objectives. But guys, always remember, those objectives are military objectives. When Russians are fighting in Ukraine, they are not fighting to make the life of the Russian citizens more prosper. Like, are you kidding me? Check out like Saudi Arabia, check out Qatar, check out the Middle Eastern countries rich with oil, and they basically pay their citizens the share. And citizens in those countries have a prosperous life, they're wealthy and stuff. Russians are poor as fuck because all the income from Russian oil and gas and other resources comes directly to Putin, also known as Huilo, and his goons. It was always like, who cares about Russians in Russia? Are you freaking kidding me? In Ukraine, it's a different story, because Ukrainian people realize that we are driving changes. We are driving the progress in our country. That's why a lot of initiative in Ukraine comes directly from people to the government, and the government reacts. Russia, come on. Russian goals are military goals. They're not fighting to somehow help their citizens to make them wealthier and stuff. They're fighting because they want to capture territories and capture resources. Those are military goals. And Russian propaganda is a weapon. It's a combat tool. It's a combat tool used to reach military goals. So with that, I would like to show you just a small fact. In 2022 and 2023, Security Service of Ukraine, the legendary Security Service of Ukraine, blocked 76 bot farms, not only on the territory of other countries, as well as Russia and Europe, but also on the territory of Ukraine. How to call it properly, the resource, the result. The population of those bot farms was approximately 3 million unique users, which is very easy to achieve. Basically, they can have as many SIM cards, as many accounts as they like. Russians use a lot of sophisticated software in order to create those bot farms, in order to create bots, and in order to manage them, in order to control them, in order to spread their information everywhere in the social media and through other channels. So what is the purpose of Russian informational warfare? What are the goals of it? And there's three main goals, main objectives, let's say. First one is sowing discord between the allies in Europe, and of course within individual countries. So basically, as you remember, several days ago I posted an update about this couple that was captured in Paris, that were drawing the David Star like all over the school in the 10th district of Paris, same in 14th district of Paris. And it's not because they supported Israel, it's because they wanted the community to blame Jews for vandalizing property. And another thing that Russia does is it sows discord by promoting divisive narratives and exploiting existing tensions. Again, the most recent example is this war in Israel. A lot of people, like everywhere in the world, a lot of people support Palestine, a lot of people support Israel, and Russians do that not because they support Palestine, and of course they don't support Israel, but they do that because they want communities in other countries to fight each other. They want to sow this discord in European countries, and they want them to lose unity. And this is something Russians are very, very, let's say, efficient in sowing discord and making you literally hate each other within your community, within your country, within European Union. It's something very, very important for Russians. One thing they do is they promote ultra-nationalist ideas in those countries, because when your politician tells you, and basically it's something that finds reaction in every citizen of any given country. He goes or she goes, we should stop thinking about those idiots like sitting in another corner of Europe, right? We should start finally thinking about ourselves, okay? Because we're given a lot of money, we're given a lot of resources, we're doing all we can and putting a lot of efforts into helping them But we should think about us. Finally, we should stop helping them. They can think about themselves. And they're doing that because they want to destroy this partnership between countries. Why it's important? My answer is a question. What European country can withstand a military invasion of Russia, from Russia into this country? Can you name a European country that can alone stand against Russia, except Ukraine, of course? I think your answer is the reason why NATO was created, right? Because you realize that Russia is big, it has a lot of tanks, like 10 times the number of tanks there are in Europe, probably. And you realize that you cannot stand against Russia alone. It's very hard, it's complicated. It will bring a lot of destruction, it will bring a lot of atrocities, it will bring a lot of deaths among your civilians. That's why NATO was created in the first place. And that is the reason why Russians want to destroy this unity. As easy as that. Just put some ultra-right, ultra-national ideas into the heads of the citizens of a given country, and boom, and it works. Another goal of the Russian propaganda in Europe is undermining trust in institutions and democratic values, of course. Russia seeks to undermine trust in traditional media. Again, check out those numerous comments like, our media lies. As well as governments and other institutions and establishments. They exist because your state needs to run. Your government, all your establishments and institutions exist because your state needs to function, right? It needs its economy to function, it needs its army to function, police, medical service, and yada yada. And Russia is trying to destroy your trust to your state. Not like you have to blindly obey whatever, because you guys, you were democratic way before we became democratic, and you have this clear understanding that you can, like, all the changes in your country depend on you, okay? And if you don't like something in your country, if you want to change some processes, you go on the streets, you protest, you elect people who can change things. This is how democracy works. But at the same time, because you are democratic people, Russia will try to exploit democracy in order to destroy democracy. Russia is not a democratic country, guys. Russia has absolutely zero freedom of speech. Russia is completely corrupted in the rating of transparent countries. Russia is approximately 20 positions lower than Ukraine. It's the most corrupted country in Europe. At least its European part, I'm not talking about the rest. And Russia is not a democratic country, but because they are so cunning, they use democracy to destroy democracy. They exploit democracy in order to, as I said, sow discord, and in order to destroy the unity between European countries, between the communities inside of those countries. And another goal is, of course, promoting pro-Russian narratives. Russia uses its propaganda to promote its own foreign policy, its goals, and create a more favorable image of Russia in the West. What I mean by that? So, first of all, there's a lot of delusions on the West, and I swear I saw that like on the internet, some conspiracists in the US were sharing their opinions, and one of them said, "Who could have known that Russia and China are actually the good guys?" I almost broke my nose with a face palm, I swear. It was hilarious. And they try to create this positive image of Russia. They talk about, you know, those villages for African or American or European refugees. Oh my God, fuck. American refugees running away from inhumane American regime to beautiful democratic Russia. I'm applauding to a person who created this. This person was a fucking maniac, but I'm applauding because it's overly cool. Russian informational warfare is a very complex and sophisticated operation. Again, it's developing constantly. It's adapting to changes in media, let's call it media landscape, right? It's always adapting, and Russians use experts to research your country, research your opinion, public opinion in your country, and find ways to shape it, to manipulate it. It's not like they have, like, you know, spies sitting in bars and you know, like making notes about what people say. No, they literally use like their embassies, their legitimate, not legitimate, they're legal spies, legalized spies, right? In their embassies that collect information, that bring this information to the coordination center, let's call it this way, basically general staff of Russian armed forces. And then they develop the informational operations in your country. As I said, they have a lot of researchers working on developing ways to manipulate your opinion in your country based on your national specifics. They use nationals from your country in their focus groups. All this works like that. It's a very sophisticated process, and it exists. They pay a lot of money, they spend a lot of money in order to make it work, and unfortunately it works big time. I made like a lot of notes here, and you will probably recognize this notebook from one of my latest skits. Fact is, in order to master the art of deception, and this is something you should understand, in order to master this art, you have to be a soulless bastard, absolutely cynical motherfucker. And they have those people that work there with higher IQ than usual, like Russian terrorists. Because Russian terrorists, also known as Russian soldiers, they are atrocious, but they're atrocious because they're fucking dumb. They're stupid. They're like barbarians who came from fucking taiga, and they had no hot water for like centuries, thousands of years, And this is why they are atrocious. But those people who create those informational operations, they are the motherfuckers, because those people will decapitate children in order to make you fear them. They are the worst. And this is the reason why, Western guys who try to retranslate Russian narratives, who try to share Russian ideas, support them and whatever, they don't understand the depth of filth they're playing with. They don't understand what kind of business they're into, guys. This shit is very, very serious, because those guys, even if they're like, what we call useful idiots, but they're playing with some very, very inhumane and ugly people. They're doing something very, very filthy that they will be sorry about in the future, probably, if they survive, if they avoid open windows. But let's return to our topic, because I think we got a bit distracted. What are the channels for spreading the Russian propaganda? Is like, it might be obvious to you guys, but you should know that. Traditional media like Russian TV channels, RT, Russia Today, Sputnik, sometimes they use social media to copy-paste Russian news from Russian national television and yada yada. Of course, they use social media. What makes RT and Sputnik so dangerous is that they produce news, they produce their reports and basically their propaganda in English language, in multiple languages. And of course, they often use inflammatory headlines and misleading images to promote pro-Russian narratives and sow discord. This is what they do. Patrick Lancaster is a huge Russo propaganda tool on YouTube, 100%. And by the way, after my skit about Patrick Lancaster, he started following my YouTube, but I cannot see his channel. Is it like because he blocked me, motherfucker, or I don't know. Anyways, bot farms, yeah, it's true. Bot farms, as I mentioned, they're often used all over the social media. Russians often use such social media as Facebook, Twitter, X. I think that this X should be changed to not like it should be changed, but probably Musk thought about changing it to like Z. I wouldn't be surprised if he would do that. And Telegram, of course, I forgot to include it into the list, but Telegram is rather not like a social media, it's rather like a messenger. It's a different thing. Anyways, they use social media to reach wide audience with their propaganda. And they do that through creating fake accounts. As we mentioned previously, they create bot farms. They create software to use those bot farms. Russians have military units that basically all they do, they're not fighting on the front lines unless they fuck up big time, but what they do is they basically create bots. They copy-paste Russian narratives in the social media all day long. This is what they do. There's like, even in so-called DPR, LPRs in Russia-occupied Donbass, even in like 2014, 2015, they already had those companies of so-called Russian Kazaki that would literally spread their narratives in the social media, in VKontakte, Russian social media, every fucking where. And of course, Russians use alternative media, which is like, conspiracist websites, Area 51, they are here. Why am I? Yeah, they are here, guys. So they use a lot of conspiracist websites with, like, some kind of secret documents that were photographed in 1988, and finally they can be published, of course, and bullshit like that. And those websites, they're very, very popular among people with, let's say, among marginalized communities, and of course people that are already distrustful of traditional media. They want some other sources, some less known, but sources that know the ultimate truth. That's what they do. I saw a bunch of such websites. Again, there was a study that that showed that a lot of such websites with like websites in English, okay, and they look completely pro-American. I wasn't prepared. I should have included that in my presentation. Basically, they were hosted in Russia. They were hosted and controlled from Russia. Maybe in my next stream I will find some of that information. It's crazy. It's completely crazy. Alternative media. Again, such alternative media may include Facebook communities, Telegram channels, the websites published at like WordPress platform or Blogspot, or doesn't matter. Graham Phillips got banned. Thank you for this information. But the Vatnik Lancaster, I think that he either blocked me or whatever. Not gonna cry, tell you that. And of course, Russian propaganda is using such channels as well to spread their narratives in Europe and in the North America as well. South America I'm not even mentioning, because their presence there is enormous. Actually, the presence of Russians in South America can be explained very easily, because there's a lot of drug cartels, and Russians are addicted is not the word. Basically, yeah, that's the word. I remember there was this huge scandal when a Russian diplomatic airplane, because they cannot be stopped or, like searched or whatever, but one of them broke, I think, during taxiing, and a lot of huge packs of cocaine just dropped down on the floor. You can Google that, it's all over the media. It was, at least. So yeah, of course they use those channels as well, which is pro-Russian opinion makers. And you may ask yourself, like why are they doing that? Like French guys, American guys, German guys, like why? Because everybody has his or her own price. Everybody has a price, guys. Russia can buy people easily, because Russia has never-ending source of income. They have this magic pipe that converts oil or gas in money, and of course they can buy people all over the world. According to the study made several years ago, Russia spent approximately, I think it was like 2019, but I might be wrong. Russia spent approximately $300 million buying opinion makers, politicians, and other goons all over Europe. And they can do that. They can, of course, they could spend those money, you know, building schools, improving heating in Altai, right, and implementing reforms, building like sewers in Russian villages, so people would finally switch from like outhouses to, you know, bathrooms built inside houses and shit like that. But why? Why would they do that? Nobody cares about people in Russia in Russia. The only thing Russian government, Russia's regime cares about is capturing territories and resources and proving everybody that Russia is the strongest and the richest country in the world, and they can fuck up everybody, you know, anybody, and that's why you should be scared of them. That's what they do. Yeah, and again, one thing you should always remember about Russian propaganda, because people, why it's important, because people go, I like objective information. I like to have full picture, okay? That's why I'm listening both Western or pro-Ukrainian media, and I'm also listening to like Russian media, because I want to know the truth. I want to have objective information, and the truth is like in the middle somewhere, right? No, it's not right. It's wrong, because Russian propaganda is a military tool. Russian propaganda is a weapon designed to reach military goals. It's not designed to bring you the ultimate truth. No, it's designed to reach Russian military goals. And this is how it works. This is why Russia has nothing to do with, let's call them, clean communications, right? Oh my God, everything is wrong. It has nothing to do with clean communications, because propaganda is a combat weapon. Communications are designed to solve problems between communities, between clients and, you know, providers of some service or goods or whatever. Communications are designed to eliminate problems, right? Propaganda is not designed to eliminate problems. Propaganda is designed to eliminate people. Public relations, thing that I studied back in my days in my university in Kiev, public relations was designed to improve communication between my clients and their clients, between governments and people, between organizations, between people inside organizations. This is the purpose of proper communications in the civilized world. The purpose of propaganda is to destroy those communications, basically, and make you believe that pro-Russian narratives are the ultimate truth. So what is the solution, right? How to combat the Russian informational warfare? because it's something very, very important. A lot of let's say different fact-checking organizations and projects, a lot of opinion makers, they propose to educate the public. And basically it's like obvious things. You have to fact check, you have to like not trust Russian sources, you have to check the sources, of course. If you have 3 or more sources of the same information, then you can consider it legit. You have to support independent media and things like that. Those things are very much obvious, and that's why they don't work. Because when people use social media, they, in most cases, of course there are people who use social media in order to receive information, but majority of people use social media in order to relax. They want to watch TikTok videos. They want to read funny stories. They want to find memes. And when they read some articles, in some newspapers, you know, they don't read them from standpoint of an expert. We don't do that because this is our nature. We don't check information. We just read information. We perceive information. Common users, and they make approximately 99.99% of all the users in the world, they use social media in order to relax, in order to find exciting, entertaining content. And they usually don't check this content. They don't spend their time or effort to fact check this content. For example, oh man, this cup gets like, it becomes white when it's hot, therefore my coffee is cold already. But it says, as my psychologist says, fuck them motherfuckers. Jesus once said in his Facebook, don't stop quoting me, please. You know, there was this meme. People don't check information because they don't even think about the need to do so. And it's natural. It's natural for everybody. And one of the things that we should, I think, promote is responsibility of the media. Media must be held responsible for their content. I believe so. Again, freedom of speech and yada yada, yeah, we all support freedom of speech. But when freedom of speech is used to remove your right to have freedom of speech, it's fucked up, right? And probably we should react somehow to this. And probably we should punish the media that produces such ideas, right? So this is my idea. Again, I'm a military, this is my opinion as a military, and you may have different opinion, maybe I'm wrong, but it's one of the ideas. Because one way or another, democracy must be protected. And I support only one kind of dictatorship, is a dictatorship of law. And the law must be democratic. Then everything will be fine, sooner or later. So, I believe we are reaching the end of my presentation. I like this snail, guys. You gotta check the story behind the snail, the snail theory. Check out the shills, the snail theory. It's freaking amazing. And I think we have time to answer some questions. Ask yourself, in the first place, can your country withstand the informational warfare? And what can be done to combat the Russian informational warfare? Because one way or another, the war, this hybrid warfare against your country has already started. Russians already started it. I saw signs in different countries. I'm talking about Iran, I'm talking about, well, North Korea, of course, and recently China. They already started implementing the Russian approach to the hybrid warfare. I saw, because I was very, very closely following the Russian, the Iranian protests, I noticed that they use a lot of same tricks, for example, that were used by the pro-Russian regime in Ukraine in 2013, 2014 against the protesters at the Revolution of Dignity. There are so many provocations. There are so many, there is so many bullshit. Like there were people, like individuals in Iran that would beat up, priests on the streets. And they would shout like, fuck Islam, and things like that. I don't believe that protesters would do that. Because when such things happens, ask yourself, what side benefits from this, right? I remember Revolution of Dignity, 2013. You probably saw this scene. It was near the administration of president, where there was like this line of soldiers, riot control, right? They had no weapon whatsoever. They had no shields. They were only standing there holding each other. And then Ukrainian protesters, pro-Ukrainian protesters, they were beating the shit out of them using like chains and stuff. I was there with my friend Mikola. I was there and I clearly remember that I was like not in the front, line of people, but around there. And I remember clearly those big guys wearing blue and yellow bandanas, and they were like pushing people at those soldiers, and they were speaking Russian, and they were like, "Come on, let's kill them all! Let's kick their asses!" And they were just literally pushing people at those soldiers. And the soldiers were conscripts. They were like 18, 19, 20 years old. They were standing there crying, and people were just beating them up. It was one of the provocations that really happened, and I saw it happening because I was there. Later, those guys, those big fuckers, those goons were recognized, and appeared that they belonged to Berkut, the special force police that was used as punishers by pro-Russian President Yanukovych. Basically, they were provoking people to beat those soldiers, those helpless soldiers. Of course, everything was recorded on camera, and it gave them the justification to then just rush forward and beat up the civilians, beat up the protesters. And protesters were beat up real bad, trust me, because those goons, they didn't care. They could kill anybody. Basically, they were like Kadyrovites in Russia, only they were like here in Ukraine. And a lot of them, of course, ran to Russia as soon as the war in Ukraine started in 2014, after the false flag stuff. Absolutely, Nathan. As soon as revolution finished and Yanukovych fled to Russia, they followed him. So in Iran, I saw exactly such things. Exactly. And of course, such things were also spotted like everywhere in other countries, in Paris during those protests, in Catalonia, in, my God, in Germany as well. I remember in like 2000, my God. Anyways, I'm old, I don't remember some dates. So, I think I can answer some questions here. And then I will hopefully go and have some sleep. One thing, oh, Raven says, I miss listening to Prigozhin's explosive rants. Gerasimov! Shoigu! Yeah. A lot of people who want to educate, educate society, they go, yeah, we have to train people how to recognize fakes. We have to raise their awareness. We have to teach them informational hygiene. But it will never work, guys. It will never work because people don't check information. Not because people are stupid. It's because it's natural. It's natural to everyone. Sometimes I fuck up big time in Twitter, for example, reposting some information without double checking it. Every single time when I don't check it, later people in the comments say like, you're dumb fuck, like you didn't check this info, it's a fake. And I go, oh, fuck. It happens. It happens. But it's natural for people not to check information. That's why it won't work. Of course, you can educate kids. You can tell them, first of all, not to talk to strangers on the internet, because they may encounter Scott Ritter, okay? And Scott Ritter considers everybody who's like around 16 too old for Scott Ritter. It's dangerous and cringy. So yeah, you gotta teach your kids not to talk to strangers on the internet, and of course you can teach them to do fact checking every single time. It will eat their time on the internet. If they spend like 3 hours on Facebook daily, then they will be spending 6 hours on Facebook trying to check everything. It doesn't work like that. It's a very ineffective approach, in my opinion, and we have to find new ways. Again, one way that I think might work is hold media accountable for spreading misinformation. For example, not only misinformation, but propaganda in general. New York Times. Damn, I wasn't prepared. I wish I could have those screenshots here. New York Times. Remember Igor Girkin / Strelkov, the fucker that was doing those uprisings in Crimea, then Donbass, then he became hero of Russia, and then Putin got his ass jailed. Well, he is wanted by different agencies for shooting down the MH17 Boeing, killing almost 300 people, including children. They destroyed an airplane over Donbass in 2014. Same individual was called military expert by New York fucking Times. Basically, it's like calling Osama bin Laden, leader of the rebels, leader of the Al-Qaeda rebels or shit like that. It's ridiculous and it's stupid. And of course they also called Strelkov leader of Ukrainian rebels, you know. He's a fucking terrorist and he's wanted by numerous agencies. But again, this media was not did not face responsibility for that, because again, such things, they form the opinion of people reading those publications. Narratives are very, very important. Okay, and speaking of narratives, I wanted to answer some questions and I lost it. Any thoughts on the news that Prigozhin's son is now the leader of Wagner? That could be possible. I would like to change topic a bit. Yesterday I saw a kick-ass video from Sudan. Apparently Ukrainian special forces were fighting Wagnerites, the remains of Wagnerites in Sudan. It was crazy. But as for Prigozhin, I don't think that his son can be like leader. He's probably like a symbol, not like leader. There were Russians love this thing. They like to have, you know, people that either can talk, or people that can attract attention, or people that can be used as like symbols. And of course those people are called, like, you know, commander of like battalion or whatever. It's not the case. Prigozhin Jr., yeah, of course he will be called like commander of regiment or something like that, commander of Spetsnaz, you know. But in reality, this organization will be controlled by the general staff of the armed forces of Russia. Maybe even Kadyrov himself eventually. Maybe Human asks, hey dude, are you officially in the Ukrainian army or a citizen journalist? So I am a press officer of the 4th Operative Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine. I'm not a civilian. Before that, I was a sergeant in the infantry platoon for a year. And for the following 2 years, I was a company NCO in the infantry. Any words on the Zaluzhny's article? Question from Roger. Well, because he's general and he has much more information than me, and of course he has access to things that I will never even dream to have access to, you know. I think that what Zaluzhny said is completely trustworthy. So when he says about the problems the Ukrainian army is facing right now, it's something that we should pay great attention to. How did you make the change from infantry to public relations? Actually, it was vice versa. I made change from public relations to infantry when the war started in my country in 2014, because Russians attacked, so I decided that I need to protect it. I think it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing for men and women who understand their responsibility as citizens. That's why I joined the infantry. But because my commander somehow found out about my background, I was eventually offered a position of a press officer. In the US Army, officers who were originally enlisted are called Mustangs. Our recently retired Army Chief of Staff is one. That is good to know. My channel took off in 2022 when I switched to English. Kinda, yeah. Kinda, I decided to switch to English because the big scale invasion started, and of course there were not many sources of information for the Western community, so I decided to inform people on the ground on what was happening. And back then Kiev was besieged by Russians, and the situation was intense. I remember they were striking our Svetoshin district with multiple launch rocket systems. They were firing at our TV tower, the TV station that we have. And yeah, that was a crazy time. And oh, how is your aircraft kit going? So it goes well. Unfortunately, I cannot find enough spare parts, okay, to finish my kit aircraft, but I decided to translate it from real world to the virtual world of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'm currently trying to reach to some developers of add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator that would help me to create this beautiful add-on. So basically it will be like some ridiculous aircraft that was basically glued and taped in order to, you know, to remain in one piece, and it will be like propelled by the player's legs. You know, you will have to like run in order to gain speed and take off and stuff like that. And of course you will have like a mouse that will be running in a wheel and rotate the propeller blades. But I'm not sure if there's a developer that would like to, you know, help me with that. Have you been awarded medals for your excellent coverage? I have an award from Zaluzhny, by the way. I received it this year. But you will not see those awards before war is finished, because first of all, I don't think that I deserved awards as much as my brothers and sisters in the infantry or artillery currently fighting in the front lines. And of course, it's like bad habit, you know, to show off your awards before the war is finished. Oh, and I see people quoting Alexander Oles in the chat. Yeah, that is amazing. Does Ukraine watch traditional TV heavily? Is there a TV campaign to fight with propaganda and maintain OPSEC? Yeah, we have a lot of social ads on the TV, in the radio. Every time there's a missile strike or drone strike in Ukraine, the authorities remind people through social media and through traditional media that you should not make pictures or videos places of impact and things like that. Don't record the air defense operating in your area and things like that. So we have a lot of that. Also, we have a lot of social ads regarding «Хочу жить», I want to leave. It's a campaign dedicated to Russian soldiers who want to leave. And there's like a lot of information explained on how they can survive, how they can contact Ukrainian security service, and basically see their parents in the future or relatives. First, last, who remembers the helicopter mouse? If you want to learn like this story about the helicopter mouse, you gotta check out the Invincible Flying Tank, one of my videos made in Hostomel from the racks of Russian Ka-52. I literally found a mouse inside of a box with electronics. And because it was toasted, apparently this mouse arrived with Russians, arrived on board of this helicopter. So yeah, and my viewers said that apparently this mouse was used to rotate the propellers. But again, because there are two sets of counter-rotating propellers on Ka-52 and only one mouse, apparently this was one of the reasons of its inevitable demise. Fluffy is the Prigozhin of kittens. Raven, she's an asshole. I admit it. Vitaly, it's nice to see you here. I heard that Microsoft helped Ukraine. Yeah, big time, because Microsoft supported Ukraine as soon as the Russian invasion started. They officially supported Ukraine. They created, together with InniBuilds, it's an add-on developer. They created the AN225 Mria add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator, amazing add-on. And it was also tested by Dmytro Antonov himself. The income from this add-on, from selling this add-on, comes to Antonov factory. Is this live? Yes, Phoebe, it's live. And actually, recently I checked some of communities in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, some developers. There's like big community of aviation enthusiasts supporting Ukraine. The guys that I was buying add-ons from before the full-scale invasion, I was so much impressed that they were all supporting Ukraine, and they were doing it openly. Like Simwork Studios, like Just Flight, those guys, Milviz, of course, because in their add-on of Cessna 310 there's this Trident sticker on the control panel. A lot of guys, and it's absolutely amazing. Here and there you can see, like, blue-yellow flag, like in the logo somewhere. It's beautiful. Halichanka, are you going to grow a beard? I tried, but itches like crazy, and because I'm a baby, I won't be growing beard, not the long one at least. And another reason for that is because yeah, of course, beards are sexy and tactical, but I wanna see tactical bearded guys wearing gas masks. Hanzo, what is the time in your country? Yeah, it's 4 hours and 6 minutes. Sweet 7433, will you go back to Hostomel on the next anniversary to do a remembrance show? I swear I will not, because this year on the first anniversary we had 50 flipping interviews. We received 50 requests for interviews from all kinds of people. And because those scarce guys that that can talk on camera, our speakers, because they already started ignoring my calls every time I call them, and I go, can you please say just 2 words on camera? I had to basically do all the interviews myself, and it was exactly the moment when I broke my tooth, and I had to, sustain the pain, and it was incredible. 50 interviews in February. It was amazing. So, Saturn Cat, if I come to Ukraine, can I buy you an ice cream? What is your favorite flavor? It's vanilla. Yeah, I love classics. Damn it, I missed some very, very nice question. Peanut, hi from Hong Kong. Hello, hello. OCT, hello my friend. It's nice to see you here. Can you talk about how Ukrainian MREs taste? What's in them? Adam, Ukrainian MREs, there are 2 kinds of them. The old MREs and the new MREs. The old MREs suck. The only thing that doesn't suck in the old MREs is 1 can of meat, which is nice. It tastes very good. But the rest sucks. We used those cookies as firewood, actually. And the new MRE, basically my brigade was among the units that tested those new MREs. They are amazing because they contain plastic packs of meals. There's damn it, I don't remember the exact number of dishes, of meals, but I remember I've been to this presentation in 2019 in Kyiv. We had military exhibition, and I talked to the representatives of the company that produces the MREs for Ukrainian soldiers, and they said that they plan to have more than 100 options. So basically we have rice with chicken, we have bean soup. Absolutely amazing thing, because I hate soups. I had too many soups when I was a kid. I'm overfed with soups, and especially like beans. But I can eat those in the MREs because they taste good. We have different porridge with meat. It always comes with meat, and it's very, very nice. So Ukrainian MREs rule. Yeah, and actually I noticed that the same packs of food, for example, like rice with chicken, is now sold in Ukrainian stores. Because the companies that produce those MREs, they realize that actually they can sell that as well. So they sell civilian version of MREs almost, and you can buy them in the stores. And that is something that I'm planning to do, because rice with chicken, it's amazing. I just cannot express my admiration. Are there really sex tunnels in Kiev? Sex tunnels in Kiev? I gotta Google sex tunnels in Kiev. Dude, we used the cookies in the old MREs we had in the US Army for the same thing. Oh, I didn't know that. But actually, I know that there's like crackers in the US MREs that you can eat together with peanut butter. Tastes very nice. But Ukrainian cookies, they try to avoid them, or try to feed them to Russians, if possible. I was intrigued with the question regarding the sex tunnels. What the sex tunnels? I gotta check it out. I gotta learn more about it. All right. I would love to visit those tunnels. I would love to at least I don't know, stand next to one. They're under Starsky's house. Mountain Dew, yeah, Mountain Dew is amazing. I really hope that they will be sold in Ukraine as well, because it's worth it. Ricky, why do we always end up talking about food? Well, because again, it's natural. People love talking about food. Food is something that brings us closer to each other. Since the times when we lived in caves, so food is absolutely amazing topic to talk. I think after the war is finished, I will dedicate my channel to food and sex tunnels. Ask Mercado or Alex about the tunnels. I will do that on Thursday, because we're gonna have stream with Alex and Dima from NAFO. They told me about it today, but because I have dementia, I forgot. Enough tunnel talk. This isn't Mercado Cast. Actually, I think that Mercado Cast starts like around this time or something. Commander 401. Amanda Grace was spreading accusations about sex tunnels and QAnon on bullshit, accusing Ukraine of horrible things. Those texts, of course they exist, guys. Of course they exist. Yeah. I remember 2014, exactly after this amazing report in the Russian media about the crucified boy. Long story short, there was a witness who said that in the middle of Slovyansk city, Ukrainian Nazi crucified a boy wearing only panties, and they were like dragging this boy after their tank, and they brought all the citizens of Slovyansk to see this execution, and of course all the citizens of Slovyansk had 0 phones with cameras to record this, and nobody remembers that anyways. But this witness turned out to be a Russian actor that was spotted in like 4 different reports, because she was like, in one report she was a witness of execution, in another report she was like a cashier, in another report she was a different person. But anyways, exactly after this report, the Russians produced another fake regarding 2 slaves. Basically, they started bullshitting that Ukrainian soldiers participating in the anti-terrorist operation were given 2 Russian slaves. Guys, I swear it's like, this is what I read in the Russian media. They were given 2 Russian slaves and piece of land. I participated in the anti-terrorist operation between 2015 and 2018, I believe. And I received no slaves and no land. I demand the Ukrainian government to give me my 2 deserved slaves, preferably female, and piece of land for them to work on it. Do you think Putin's body doubles sleep in the same bed and kiss? Oh my god. This is disgusting. What would you grow on your land? On my land, I would grow like cucumbers and tomatoes. Probably just tomatoes, because after COVID fucked up my sense of smell, in most cases cucumbers smell like shampoo to me, or something like that. Which is not bad, but I'm not a fan of eating shampoo. That's why I try to avoid it. Probably like tomatoes and watermelons. How is Grandpa doing? Guys, I had no opportunity to see Grandpa. I'm very, very sorry. As soon as I'm there, I will try to see him, but Grandpa lives on another, like in a completely opposite part of Irpin, Bucha, you see. And I'm not visiting that area often, so sorry guys. But I will, I promise, I will. I'll grow banana and potato on my farm. Jason, I would grow potato, but the thing is, here in Ukraine, we grow potato a lot, and it's like mainstream, you know? And people, it's like love and hate simultaneously, because when you have vacations, usually, your dad or grandpa or whatever goes, hey, let's have some rest, let's go to our country house, or like, let's visit our grandma in the village. And you go to your village and you spend your whole vacation working in the field and bringing like 2 kilograms of potatoes home from a village. That's why everyone hates potatoes. And also you have to care because there's like, you know, bugs. You have to get rid of bugs, the Colorado bugs, how we call them. So potatoes, like we don't really like potatoes. We like to eat potatoes, but we prefer somebody else to manage and take care for those potatoes. Cabbage is nice. Cabbage, I approve growing cabbage on your land. Can you comment on the area that flooded? Do you think all the damaged environment in the war zone will come back eventually? Sea of Beauty, I think it will, because even in Chernobyl, the nature returned big time. In Chernobyl, for example, the ships that were docked in the Pripyat River, those ships eventually lost the acquired radiation big time. Like, nobody knows why, but the level of radiation in those ships, in those vessels, is lower than anywhere else, and nature returns. I think eventually everything will be fine. So in the area that was flooded, of course, it was a huge strike on the Ukrainian environment, but I think eventually everything will be fine. But of course, it will take a lot of years, maybe hundreds of years. Level 70. The 5-legged dogs are proof. Fifth leg is not a leg. The best thing I had in Ukraine was ladies' strawberry preserves. Oh yeah, strawberries and mushrooms as well. Mushrooms in Chernihiv area, it's where I came from. Is like, they're amazing. They're huge, and you can find a lot of them growing like everywhere. What is your video game of choice lately? Tonya, I cannot say really. The last thing I downloaded was like Starfield, but I don't play it because I have no time. But Microsoft Flight Simulator, maybe like once a week, is the game of my choice. I'm making this virtual flight from the UK to Japan, eastwards, in several airplanes at a time, in Piper Arrow and in this MOL M7. And I do really like this MOL, made by Pilot Experience Sim. It's amazing. I gave them several like commentaries regarding, you know, like smaller glitches and stuff, and they promised to fix them in the future update. Can you talk about the Ukrainian soldiers that choose to side with Russia in 2014? Well, majority of those soldiers lived in Crimea, and the reason they chose to side with Russia was obviously because they had their houses there, their families and stuff, and they didn't really understand the situation. Another thing is that the Minister of Defense of Ukraine, before the Revolution of Dignity, his name was Solomatin, and he had this like emblem of FSB. He didn't even care. He was just carrying this emblem with him, like anywhere. And as you can probably understand, the Ukrainian army was fucked completely. And of course, it's a miracle that we could save Ukraine back then in 2014, when the Ukrainian army was completely ruined and destroyed. But at the same time, of course, Russian for example, like Russian soldiers, Russian officers in Crimea, they were just bragging because they had bigger salary and shit, and Ukrainian soldiers didn't have that level of supplies, that level of salary and wealth as Russian soldiers, because Ukrainian army was deliberately destroyed by and ruined by pro-Russian government. Guys, you have no idea what kind of salary would Ukrainian soldiers receive back then. It was something like around 45 bucks. I remember my dad, the times when he was in the military, his salary was around 45 bucks a month. It's insane. Iman got banished by YouTube again. How? How did you do that? Just me, will you come visit us in the US after the war? I definitely will. Because apparently I have quite a few friends now around the world, and I dream of meeting you guys and visiting your beautiful countries. It's something that I will definitely do after the end of the war. Question from Maria, is Ukraine's infrastructure holding up? Yes, it does. The question is, will it withstand the Russian strikes? Because, as we know, Russians concentrated a lot of long-range missiles. Currently, they don't strike our infrastructure much. They use drones, they use like one or several missiles on a daily basis, but not like massive strikes that we saw even earlier this summer. At the same time, they concentrated a lot of missiles, and as soon as temperature here goes below zero, we expect them to start striking our infrastructure massively. And we're talking about like hundreds of missiles. That is the reason why Ukrainian government, why President Zelensky is talking about the air defense so much, because it's extremely important, guys. Sam Parker, be careful, I got banned after a carrot juice joke on Taya Ukraine comment section. Oh my god, that's nasty. Do you follow Break the Fake on TVP? Yeah, I do. They're doing a great job. And we need more of that content. Again, one thing that can help in disrupting Russian propaganda, which is sometimes absolutely ridiculous because, they go, did you see those 16,000 people killed by Ukrainian Nazi in Donbass before Russia interrupted? And you go, where did you get this information from? And they go like Gonzalo Lira. And where did he get this information from? From like Scott Ritter, And where did he get that information from? From who cares? Sometimes their information is completely ridiculous. It cannot be proved. It cannot be confirmed at all. And despite this fact, there's still not too many channels, not too many sources of debunking fakes. Yes, different projects exist, different YouTube channels exist, but you need to have a lot of such channels in your language, in your country. And they must work systematically and how do you say it, in coordination. Then it will bring results, because Russian bullshit must be exposed. And when it's exposed, it loses any, any credibility, any whatever trust it can have or gain among, conspiracists and whatever. Their lies must be exposed, that's all. Alrighty, guys. How's your friend Yemelyan? Yemelyan feels good. He's guarding my garage right now. I found the best place for him, and he's guarding my garage. Guys, I will be saying goodnight because it's 4:32 in the morning here. And I still have some tasks to do today. But I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your questions. And I hope to be able to make streams more often, because there's a lot of topics we have to discuss, guys. Next topic about the corruption in Ukraine, about what Russian media say about corruption in Ukraine, about reality. I think you're gonna love it, because I prepared a lot of cool material. So see you next time, maybe in 2 days, I'm not sure yet. And as always, be safe. Thank you so much for your attention. You are amazing. So, bye-bye.